The word I have chosen for today's vocabulary building is convince. 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 Convince is the verb. It means the ability to make somebody believe what you want them to believe. I can say, or you can say, my father convinced me to become a doctor instead of a lawyer. I convinced him to buy the car. I convinced her to accept the job in Delhi. I convinced my friends that they should study higher. The next part of speech is the adjective. Convinced. I am convinced that he will become a great musician. I'm convinced that he will go far in life because he's a hard worker. I'm convinced of his ability to do the job. And the next part of speech is again an adjective, convincing. That means something is convincing. You are convincing. A person who has the ability to convince others is convincing. And a convincing person can make you believe what he wants you to believe. And the last part of speech is convincingly. Now, we normally combine an adverb with a verb. You can say, somebody speaks convincingly, somebody acts convincingly, somebody works convincingly. So there you have it, the 4 parts of speech with the word convince. Convince is the verb, convinced is the adjective, convincing is another adjective, and convincingly is the adverb. Now remember, the art of building your vocabulary is spending time with words, trying to understand them completely, the pronunciation, all the parts of speech, the meaning, and how to use them in a sentence. Because when you use a word, it must fall comfortably into a sentence. It mustn't seem forced. It must be in the natural flow of words. Then only it will sound convincing. If you have to convince people that you have a good vocabulary, you have to use it in a convincing way. Then only will people be convinced of what you are saying. Thank you for listening. Keep watching this space.